Hi, Jonathan Pilbara from DHL. If you looked at the high street in 5 years, what do you think you'll see?
Well, I sit on the board of a property company, Land Securities, which has got a third of its assets in bricks and mortar, and they ask me the same question every time we have a board meeting. And I said, I knew the answer, guys. But the answer is, retailing has been, as you said, slightly cheekily, the second oldest profession in the world. It's been on the banks of the Niles for 5,000 years, people selling carpets and peanuts and whatever they sell. So it's not going to disappear. And there will still be bricks and mortar shops, but what we are going to see is a lot of different sort of trends and polarizations. I think what we have seen is, first of all, there are demographic changes which we cannot help. The second trend that we've seen is that there's convenience. Convenience, people want to go. So whether it's petrol prices, whether it's the fact we want more fresh food, or more local shopping, or more interaction, or whatever else. I mean, look what's happening with Tesco Metros, local Safeways, Marks and Spencer Simply Foods, and whatever else. That is the norm now. People want those sorts of things, daily top up and whatever else. We've seen the fact that people want big destination shops. So they want that as well. We've seen the big rise of click and collect though. We've seen the big rise of internet. We've seen the fact that M&S, the biggest thing that happened was that somebody would come in, they might want to buy a sofa, they'd sit on it, they do this, they go that, they'd take the catalogue home, then they might order it online, then they might have it not delivered to the home address but to a different address, so they want everything every which way. So we've got to be able to cope for that. But do I believe that, take Marks' case, in Marks and Spencer, where there's a store in Weston-super-Mare, which has been going for 104 years, that store will disappear? No, because there are 300,000 or 400,000 people in the catchment area. There's a need to go there. What will happen is, though, it will change. So at the moment, it's got a perfectly adequate food section, and it's got a perfectly inadequate clothing section, by which I mean you can only get a small part of the range. What I suspect will happen is they will have a fantastic food section, and they'll have home delivery at some point. But the textile section will probably shrink. It will have your tights and your knickers and your men's underpants and your socks, the stuff you need today. But what it will have is the technology in place to say that if you order it by 7 o'clock tonight by touch this or that or by phone, this will be delivered to this store for you to pick up tomorrow from our whole catalogue. And at the same time, you may have done a deal with Amazon to have a click and collect centre there, or a deal with Ocado, or a deal with somebody else. So the place will become more of a sort of social place, less of a sort of, something and nothing now. It's too light for heavy work in both cases. But I don't think it'll disappear. And also people want to go for the day out, but there's a limit, planning regulations in the UK, to how many blue waters there are going to be and how many meadow halls and whatever else. I think there's another factor though, and that is that it's within our own control, whether it's property companies, whether it's the debate, which is probably fair about rates, whether it's fair about local government and whatever else. We've got to invest in these places. And if you create new and exciting places, and if you haven't been, go and look at Leeds Trinity, which is in the centre of Leeds, which used to be right in the centre of Leeds, great city now, Leeds doing well again despite the recession, lots of inward investment. But the city centre area of that shopping centre was dreadful, right? Land Securities, actually, it's a bit of an advert for Land Securities, spent 5 years and 200 or 300 million quid to put this together. It's going gangbusters. The people want to go to new and exciting places. And I was giving a talk the other day about the fact, it's about shopping centres. Well, people say the shopping centre is great. Well, actually, shopping centres are great only when you get into the bloody things, because the experience of getting to half of them is you go down this bloody road you can't get into, you go through these narrow bits, the ticket machine doesn't bloody work, it smells of urine, the kids are screaming in the back of the car, granny's having a bloody nervous breakdown, you want a bloody cup of coffee, is there a coffee bar down there, is there a latrine down there, is there somebody to give you valet parking down there, is it expensive, yes, too expensive? You're pissed off before you've even got into the shopping centre. So if we were to think about some of those things to making life more fun, I think actually there is life in the high street, but not everyone.